그래서 저 체면시 나네 그래서 잠바 체면 당념 체면세다 잠바 체면시 시사로와 지산 당념 체면세디 당아주 심제 탐제 니지게 장초라 가와다 현초다 당와 기비기 예링 차다며 봐지 심제 탐제글 아니 삼로디 심제 탐제라 따상 찍비찍장서 당념 지용하쇼 심배 삼로디 아니 당념 제디 되제 아니 잠바치면서 해야 저 심제 탐제 대화에 되나 심배 삼로디 단 삼로디 아주 잠바치면서 제가 디고 그시 당보간에 간에 삼당고래서지 온도시는 아주 가상 디시에서지.
Good evening. So last time we started to look at the presentation on the four immeasurables. So this comes in the context of starting one's meditation, where one goes for refuge and generates bodhicitta. And we looked at the first two of the four immeasurables, namely those of impartiality and of love. So the immeasurable impartiality, this was a mind that has overcome a closeness to only some, and a distance from others, and indifference to many. And it's rather a mind that relates to others all as being close, a mind that sees all as being equal. Hence, impartial or equanimity, immeasurable equanimity or immeasurable impartiality. And then the second immeasurable that we looked at was that of love. And this was the wish that may all sentient beings, all limitless sentient beings, may they all experience only happiness. So these were the first two of the four that we looked at last time. And this is again in the context of refuge, of having gone for refuge and now generating bodhicitta. And tonight we'll continue with the four immeasurables, looking at the second two, those of immeasurable compassion and immeasurable joy. And in the text, in the same place as last week, near the bottom of page 7. In brief, the meditation on immeasurable compassion has as the wish, may all sentient beings, all without exception, may they be freed of suffering.
And then a bear would say the water simple Dewada, then Yakur Sambi Gawadi, Ruada Simjan Dewada, then a bear would say, then Simjan Dewada, Dewadi, and Demba, Dewadi, and Mata, Juna, Sambi Samotilla, Nane Chike Gawatsimela.
Immeasurable joy. This is the wish that may all beings experience only happiness, may they never be separated from happiness.
Then Zandang Niji Sime said, the Simjan Tamche, Dungada Jana, Sambi Samlo Tango and the Nigi, the Yechimura Shu Chagorada, Chisa, Zugi, Tabachim Bigi Chu and Yamlechala, and Janshu Sim. Gule Laje, Janshu Sim Bukune Lash Gure. Chisa Janshu Sim said, Garas and the Simja, Tamjiki Dundang San Yokoban Toba Chigi, Sempe Samlo, the Janshu Sim Sigurua. Then the Nigi Janshu Sim di Gelia, and Azui, Niji Gura, Chisa Nije. Nije Magena, Simja Tamje Dunga Jana, Sempe Samlo Malena, Simja Tamje Dunga Drag, Dondalangi, San Yokoban to which Toba Chigi, Sempe Samdo Litu Marwa, the Neza, and the Simja Tamje.
The practice of or the generation of immeasurable compassion, this wish that may all sentient beings be freed from or separated from suffering, this is a particularly important practice. What makes a practice one of the Mahayana Dharma is that it is done under the influence of a motivating mind, or under the influence of a motivating mind of bodhicitta. So in order to give rise to this mind of bodhicitta, one has to have, or give rise to this wish, that I will become a Buddha for the sake of others. I will become a Buddha in order to lead all sentient beings to the cultivation of their own individual enlightenment. That is the mind of enlightenment, or the mind of bodhicitta. But that arises independent on the prior cultivation of great compassion. Without the generation of compassion, it's not possible to give rise to the actual mind of enlightenment. So therefore, the generation of compassion in the context of the Mahayana Dharma is of particular importance.
다 심지어 담제 동화다 자나 심비게 니지 쳔베디 다 고미야야 당봉왕도 간스 고주우레세지 고미야도 당봉왕도 간스 고주우레스네 니래 아주게 동화 연나 강가 여바디 세우하고 그러와 즉 동화 지연나 강가 여바디 강가 여 세우하고나 데네 데레 동화디다 자나 심베 삼로디 슈체시리고 그러와 데네 자 당봉왕도 동화 연나 강가 여바디 세우하고야디 당보디 하고 그래 계침보래.
To meditate effectively on compassion, this comes about independent on the prior cultivation of the meditations relating to suffering. This is a particularly important starting point. Without this having been properly accomplished, then the later development of compassion will be difficult. And this is because it's only through having to come to clearly understand the sufferings that befall oneself, but not just coarse, but the subtle sufferings that befall oneself, will we give rise to an actual wish to be freed of suffering. And this is important. This wish to be freed of suffering comes about independent on the prior understanding of suffering, of our experience of suffering. And this is required in order to be able to give rise to the wish that not only may we be freed of suffering, but others too. So therefore, the starting point of the meditation is to understand suffering.
직현다 차상 심전 차상 간에신다 동하다 자나 선배 삼로도 요르데 이내다 가도 디 삼로도 숙천부 질레 두고 말바다 디니게 자위에 삼로도 여바디 당 숙천부래야라 간족에 장도를 채우고 그러다.
This mind of compassion, this wish that may all beings be freed from suffering, this is something that we all have. So this is a mind we already have. However, its strength is still quite undeveloped. It's still a mind that is weak. But it's being a mind, we can strengthen it through training, through cultivating, through strengthening our habituation to it. So this mind of compassion, this wish for others to be freed of suffering, this we can develop ever stronger within us.
체메 고미알라 당보 다 삼다에 소소라랑 당보 소소라랑한테 삼당고레스 지난 소소라랑다 가르 삼당고레스는 소소라랑게 동아 중타로시 소소리아 동아 유에나 동아 유바나 아니 베네가 소소라랑이야 나 메네치게 네나자 쳔볼 주나 가르용 그레스 쳔베게 다 디니게 강아시 웅글 다디 강아세 월스 빌리기로와 다 소소라랑이야 아니지 지게 미 쇠살레 치야다 강바제 제야다 락바제 디니실레 치소나 가르지기레 선배 삼로시 두스타웨나 디니 삼다 딜레테 백강아 티기레 선배 삼로 딜레테 타고 고레 선배 삼로 지리기도와 당보 제산 소소리아 지 미메바로 시나기네 아니 강아 디니시에나 아니 간스 강아 티기레 다딩아 미메바인데 앞에 사이기레다 칼라사야다 파주로야다 지 강아 시우 티기레 선배 삼촌나 숙침부 지리기도와 디나신 땅아 강바 메바다 락바니가 메바로 차송만다 다 직강아 시우 티기레 선배가촌나디 소소라 리기로와 지성 소소리아 디네 강아 주나 나 용연에 빼데 강아 디네 용그레 선배가 삼로디 녀리야 저게 소소리랑이 되냐 동아 삼다 디 삼당고 있어라.
So an important point to have clear is that the meditation on compassion, which we eventually want to cultivate in relation to all sentient beings, this meditation on compassion actually starts with looking at one's own situation. So the starting point is to look at one's own situation. And when we're looking at one's own situation, this means coming to understand how the various levels of suffering that we experience. So we're trying to understand our own experiences. So this is the starting point for the meditation on compassion. We start with ourselves. So if we take a very simple illustration, and that is one of illness. When we experience an illness, then of course this is a suffering, and a suffering we want to be freed of. And we will naturally think about, so what were the causes of these? What are the causes of this illness? What are the solutions? So this way of thinking will naturally arise. And we can do this, engage in this way of thinking though, when we're healthy too. And we can imagine, for example, what it would be like to be blind, or what it would be like to be paralyzed. And if we do the meditation, thinking clearly what it would be like if we had these limitations or these restrictions, how our experiences would change, and what suffering we'd experience, through then thinking in this abstract way, but in relation to ourselves, then when a clear understanding arises of what our experiences would be, we can much more empathetically relate to the sufferings of others.
Namune Kalasa, the Trident chair, Najik chair, the Dirwata, Jinason, Besagre, some jet, and the Manay Dondala, the Trident chair, that's of Chigo Roches, and Dineza, Tangazulia, Sosulia, Guanana, Sosuga, Guanana, the Chambana, some Sosunagan, 9 euro, what among 9 euro, 9 at the Dinekanga Yore, some bit at Dinekanga, the Pekanga Yorta, some big Pene Soros, never enough. Mishandaji so na so gini na manyo chi mishanda so na thong de so na go sia di ne sharara na gi yuba da sam ba de dizi ran so wa li ma wa da nyema so ran so chi shu na nyo na za shu jun ro wa da mishanda so na go so o de na zi di na chi yo re sam be ga nga shu yo re sam be sam lo ji nam sa li gi ro wa.
Generally, we all take some care of our health. We know that we need to, what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating, and whether we're exercising enough. And so this is something we've come to understand and we give some thought to. And this is because we have experience of being unhealthy, and we have experience of this unwanted situation. So we therefore have developed knowledge as to what the causes of our unwanted situation are and the causes of our wanted situation is, and we try and develop those. So this is similar to what we would do in a meditation on compassion. Or to take another illustration, if one has never experienced a particular illness, maybe a migraine or toothache, then it's difficult to have strong empathy for someone who is experiencing a migraine or toothache. But if we have experienced this pain, then when we meet someone who is suffering from toothache or migraine, our empathy will be so much stronger because we understand the suffering that they're experiencing in relation to our own experience.
Denigi Sosugi Denliadu Samda, Dene Samotan, and that Denigi Gangachun the Pesa, the Ganga did Matanda, Digminu, some big Sosulia, Jake, Mahomba, the Dene Gangach, Mayon, the Jewels, and some Shukshamulidova. On the Nage Leo, that's Denim Pashanda, Sosugida, Punja Sorodan, Pamaro, Sosu, Yelia, sometimes. The Dambo Social sometime. Di dunga di samlo di korche yungu ro karsan so so yungu ro jisa korche re jisa dini korche enza dunga di da jagu de sembe samlo di le ya lo come le la re da dini ji de da ya so su gi a ji de bin ji da na ga che di ge so su punja da phama de so la ga sem da nye wa yo ro yo ba za dini ma ji ge sam da ni ba de sam da de la so su gi punja ro da phama ro da so su gi nye da di ke nyen di ke le ya mi che do de so da so su ya de ji sam ba na shin kon de ne dunga chon de pesa sa dunga da jana sam be gi da on du stine sam di ya na ya do sam da gong wo re ji re.
So again, yeah, because this is important, this is clear. The meditation on compassion starts with oneself. We think about suffering situations that we have experienced or that we may experience, and we generate a sensation in our meditation of actually experiencing these. And that then will lead to the natural wish arising May I never have to experience this. May I be freed of such suffering, not just temporarily, but permanently. May I never have to experience such a suffering. So this is the first, perhaps, the first object of one's meditation is oneself. Thereafter, we can expand the object, and we expand it to those that we are close to, those we feel an affinity towards, our loved ones. And so this same wish that we have now generated in relation to ourselves, that may we never have to experience such a suffering, we then relate it to those that we care for, because it's of course much easier to relate to those that we already feel a closeness to. May they too never have to experience such a suffering. And that then would be the second part, or the second step of the meditation.
미유 디베네 둥아이나 둥아시우 강아 예디게 삼로 셈 직데네시 톨 미고로 베네 셈제 강아 뭐 예디게 둥아시우 예디게 셈제 질라 삼다 디안 소소라 갈레 데네 주나 가네션을 베사서 셈베 삼 코미아다 온데니게 둥아데다 니 분야다 파마다 제솔 주나 가네스 베사서다 데니게 마중아쇼 셈베 데니 둥아데다 자고도 셈베 삼로 야네다 다 데네 마지 개체다네 다 소소 제솔 소식이 분야다 세인 되실이야 되니게 삼로 어다고 동화다 자고도 동 빼사그래 동화 자고 삼로 숙침볼래 용도 되네 바양 개체다제 다디 소속이 니화 셈제 가세 유나다 소속이 다 소식이 lumba 대단 개합나 되니게 차상을 셈전 차상을야다 되니게 동화되게 마중을 좀 동화되게 다 자고도 삼배 삼로 고미야 동화 자나 삼배 삼다제.
Another way that one can generate this understanding of suffering is we can look at what we have experienced or what we would fear to experience, and we can also take as a base for our meditation the suffering that we observe, that we certainly don't experience, but that we observe, either directly around us or perhaps on the news, where we see awful situations that people are experiencing in the world right now. But we take that and then we relate it to ourselves. Because the first step again of the meditation is to think about suffering in relation to ourselves. And we think then about what the suffering that we are observing, and we think how it would be if that were to befall us. And this then will naturally lead to the wish, may I be freed from any possibility of ever, in this life or any future life, of having to experience such suffering. And then the second, we take that thought and we expand it further to those, to our loved ones. May they too be freed from ever having to experience such suffering. And then we can take it beyond just those that we are closely connected to those that we still though feel a connection with, whether it's people that we share nationality with or from a similar community, whomever. But we generate the wish, may these beings too be freed from ever having to experience such suffering.
다 되네 두시네 검네 되네 삼로디 다 심제 소소기 녀호 소소기 다 lumba 소소기 기하기 미차사 심제 미다 심제 차사야 안 동하다 자나 동하다 자고도 디 마자는 탑 민도스미 동하다 자나 녀베 삼로지 다 되네 축셔모르지 오슬리어도 되네 심제 탐제 다 소소기 자마비 심제 기합샤다 미다 안 심제나 좀 차사야 심제 탐제다 다 아주 대신에도 당바섬나 소소 삼다로 소소 담면 삼다도 소소 강아에는 소소 동아 미디어 바나징이 분야다 년디게 동아 고고 콘슬레 동아 가나 나신지 동아다 자나 셈베 삼다로 다든 두스 개체 삼다도 당한 겐디게 동아 자고 자와 나신 당한 주기 녀고 유게 년만 녀고 유게다 소소기 개가 미쳐서 동아 미디어 바 직발에 대화 두고 지선 콘수 차산 대 동아다 자나 셈베 삼다로 다 되는 게 안 저기 제가다미 동아 미드바나 동아 자고바나 다 심전 차상 점블링이 미차상 직발했어 민나신 심전 눈으로 차상 직발했어 대화대바 동아 미드바 직발했어 차상을 동아 세고 고래 제가 심전 가는지 이네 동아다 자나 선배 섬다 고미야들이다.
We've looked then at a few ways that one can generate this wish to be freed of suffering, recalling sufferings that we've experienced, or those that we observe others are experiencing. And we generate this strong wish through relating to these as if how it would be if I were to experience these. And generating this strong wish, or the strong wish will naturally arise that may I never have to experience this, not in this or any life. And then we expand that to those that are our intimate loved ones. May they too never have to experience this type of suffering. Then we expand it further to those that, perhaps in our community, so those that we still, that we would include as part of our circle, those that we feel a connection with. May these beings too never have to experience such pain, such suffering. Then we expand it further to all beings, not just those in our community or our nation, but all human beings, and not just those who are human, but animals too, and unseen beings. May no being ever have to suffer. So in this way, we generate first this wish in relation to ourselves, to be freed of suffering, and then we expand it progressively, step by step, making sure that the strong wish to be freed of suffering, this doesn't dissipate as we expand the circle, but we keep that active and thereby expand the circle slowly, but eventually encompassing all beings.
those jene dangbone miyu de semjen miyu nyunyu chilia samda miyu de ya den ma ta de semjen cha changma le mije donga da na samya komya di dangbone chung ne ya che dang gomba ne komya le la just je le la yung go da dangbone semjen tham je donga da dana samya samda je chung ne samma da dangbone semjen tham je samda sha ba ne de je de deskal ka yung se.
So hopefully then this is clear that one, in order to generate compassion, one needs to start with oneself and then expand this slowly, progressively, and until eventually, with sincerity, one gives rise to the wish, may all sentient beings be freed from suffering. If one doesn't go through this sequence, but just starts with the aspiration, may all sentient beings be freed from suffering, this is a bit too abstract. And if one starts this in this way, it will be difficult to give rise to a sufficient strength of mind for actual compassion to arise.
Nyehol yuken da an sosugi jike nyamdu yedin gedi na nyamdu yendilia an zamzam jik siksup da gyare da deni che debena ne go dada chagyo marwa tenga simje tamje dunga da dana samda deni chide an diwa sosu punja da suyin diwa keshira che chik sangasngra che buzo da ma che son tola nya yo ro khon la de che dukja re sha se she nya yo ro che sa deni za kan semje tamje samda soso nyego yugen digilya ane chige khonro da lungtena dada chagyo mare.
It's important we go through this specific sequence, starting with ourselves and progressing out. If we just sit on our cushion and generate that aspiration, may all sentient beings be freed from suffering, which is a wish that no one would disagree with, but if we were to just start our meditation at that point, then the reality is when we are not doing our practice and we're going through our everyday lives, we're going to end up continuing to get annoyed and frustrated with those that we currently have the closest of connections with, our partners, our families, and we will continue to argue with them from time to time, and this will be completely contrary to this wish of this great expanse of beings, may they be freed from suffering, and yet we are still engaging in arguments with those that we should be closest to.
And the names that are also Karasine, the Niggas, Sosu Tango, Sosu Samda, the Nesuki, Nien, Sosu Yamdu, and Chasalia, and Jidunga the Dana, some time, Delia Dunga the Dana, some time, and Anzu Consolia, Dunga di Yagi, Julia, Semsun Chigua, Consulia, Bene, Geshe na de Yagar Dangmu Jeda and Jiyago Jed Jigua, some consul Dunga Jana, some Gora, she's an 18 consul Kangan Chigri, Yawumar, some Gorwa. She said, the nigger Dunga Jana, some Besusurang, Yeda, Pamapunya Dunga Giant, some time do ranking Yen Pamoila, Jamzero, Mason Shuksheli Gore. It's not the nigger Jamze Shuksheli, didn't ranking Yahorgi, that's also a come by Kim Jed and so Legalero, Dropota, the neck, Mahmuji, the Consul Dunga that Juna de Kangare, that Dunga that Jana, some Leodu, Consulia Jamzi de Ligor, Jamzi Ligor, then Jamzi in it, Chasan Tumbuchagor. On the names that they do, Jenian, Jihab Chasalia, and do Jam Dunga da Jana, some time do, tell Jamzi de Rashi Leon, the names are Chasan Tumbusu, Jihada, Chesa do she the Chunchunia Church, Congo, Gimzaro with the names around.
So it's important here then to start to do this meditation in this specific sequence, and not to just start with "May all sentient beings be freed from suffering," even if this wish is sincere to oneself, but without having gone through this training in the correct sequence, that wish is going to remain quite abstract and not at all and have no power to it. And this will be apparent in that our behavior is not going to be influenced by that mere expression of such a wish. So rather, one starts with oneself, meditating on the suffering that one has experienced or fears experiencing or observes others experiencing, generating the wish, may I never have to experience this, may I be freed from such suffering in this and all future lives. And giving rise to that, it then becomes, it's very easy then to expand that wish to those that we are close to, particularly those that we live with, our immediate family. And then we can slowly, over time, expand that wish out to others. May my greater family, may they too be freed of suffering. May my community, those that I feel a connection with, may they all be freed of suffering, etc. Eventually coming to all sentient beings. So what we're trying to do with going through this sequence in a gradual method is to go through these varying steps with a degree of sincerity. So it's not just a mere expression of words, but where as the circle expands, the wish expands in strength with that. It doesn't become weaker. And how we will experience then a change in behavior is as we start with ourselves and then expand it to others, those that we are around us, but only to perhaps our loved ones. Then when we're interacting with our loved ones, those that we live with, having this wish in our mind of not wanting them to suffer, that will have an impact on how we physically relate to them, how we verbally communicate to them. So here we can see an impact on our behavior through our mind being developed in the correct way. And this then means when we're interacting with others, no matter how they are acting towards us, because we've generated this wish, may my family experience no suffering. We then will not speak to them in a way or act towards them in a way that will bring suffering to them. So our mind will be guarded by this wish. And this then will come about through training in this correct sequence. We will start to relate to those that we are training with greater love and care and gentleness. And we'll see a change in the strength of the harmony in our relationships, and how whatever difficulties are encountered, these don't come to dominate or harm our relationships. So therefore it's of particular importance that one engages in this training in this specific sequence.
바 장도를 두시제 당한 심지 탐제 동화다 자나 선배게 삼로 땅에도 데네 삼로 땅에 내 심지 탐제 아니 팽기레베스 간스 팽기레다 삼로 중구로 하다 팽기 다 데네게 심지 탐제 동화다 자나 삼내 심지 탐제 동화 잔 자기 말와 안내 간스 팽기레 선배게 삼로 용식이로 하다 편도면은 데네 검 디저털라레 선배게 용식이로 와.
as one develops in this meditation, certainly a thought will regularly arise as one gives rise to the wish of, may others be freed of suffering, then the thought will come, so how can I be of benefit to them? Because when this meditation is done so that these minds arise with sincerity, then one will want to act under their influence, one will not want to bring harm, and one will think, how can I bring benefit?
간에서 팽기래라나 다 판도 나간도 되네 공부하다 삼전 차사 누가는 잘때 자투고 말에 되네 다 삼전 야 판도 야 신부 쉬우지 판도 연구로 와다 그래서네 코도디랑 판도 마도 나야 망고바나 판도 지도야다 용식이래 답변은 저기 샘제 삼제 동안다 자나 자고도 선배 자나 선배 삼로드까지 숙체 여바이나 삼로디 숙체 여바이나 저기 그래 자나 선배게 삼로 숙체에나 심지어 동안 자해가 된다라 탑람 가르도이 배수시기로 와. 다나스면 심지어 동안 자고도 선배 삼로데 숙침매나 동안 자고도 선배 숙침매네 되네 소소라랑 되기 줘야들라 레가로 고고라체 심지어 펜션에 펜비게 자원 간스 두고도 될야 뉴버셔라던 통마로. 진짜 심지어 담주 동안 차상 동안 자고도 선배나 진짜 동안 자해가 된다라 동안 간스 연구하래. 진짜 동안에 간스 세고도 세비게 탑람이야. 안에 배준 장야다. 네게 탑람 간스 두 탑람 약보도 가르도 시 장야 장도를 제. 이 장도를 제하기 연구하래. 장도를 제하면 장도를 제하래. 안에 되네게 소소까지 숙체에나 무엇을 현리에 펜비게 자와 라렌다야래. 안에
So, I didn't express kind of very clearly in the previous segment. So just to retranslate that. So doing these meditations, wanting all sentient beings to be freed of suffering, will lead to a thought coming to us, this mere meditation of wanting others to be freed of suffering, how will that actually lead to them being freed of suffering? What is the purpose or the point of this meditation? Will it actually lead others to be freed of suffering? So that was what Gunnar said in the previous segment. So there's certainly, whilst this meditation is being done by oneself in just one's own continuum, there certainly is benefit to others. Both benefit on the short term, as well as in the long term. So here, and how much benefit comes to others, this is entirely dependent on the strength of one's mind, or the strength of the mind that one is cultivating. The greater the strength of mind that one is cultivating, the greater benefit will come to others. If the mind is not particularly powerful, if it's not particularly stable, in other words, it dissipates and fades away very quickly, then the benefit to others will be much less. But if one is observing development within oneself and benefit coming through this mind, then certainly a benefit that will immediately come is that seeing this change, one will want to engage in these meditations ever more. One will want to train ever more because one will see the benefits that are coming.
여러분들 갈롭직 나야 되는 미 몽골이야 안에시기 셈레시데 연하다 롭종 토네 이나데 안 펀수 튠제 토네 이나레 아니 가리 토네 안지 여러분들 갈롭 나야 되는 데네 톨야 냠는 지금 두ken 시오지 몽골이거로 와 데네자 가서는 디 샹라 동하다 타나 셈비게 닝제여 바다 샹라 잠제여베 셈베 뉴버 슉첨부 예베 긴기 안에 샹리아 판도 치주로 당아즈로데 나즈로 지기 아다지 겨서 튼데 제거래 야고 제거래 세네 자닝말 수닝이로 와데 냥아 용말 가라서 나즈규라 잠제데 닝지 디 곰도도 슉첨부 매바인자 안디기 뉴번 매바인자 디기 안 판도시라 두고 말어 지난 자람적으로 보시 뉴버 잠니지 곰지 뉴버 매바자 아니디 아니 어찌게 샹리아 안직 튼데 튼펜지 튼보 제거래서 스칼롭 나도 디겐진 튼보 망고 차서 두고 거래 안에 지게 최초도네 냠len 제거를 나용도 안디도네 냠len 망고리 거래 배는 아주 생이 쥐버쥐야로 쇼르바다 생이 다스다 쥐버쥐야디 배시 흉대데 냐마 디와이네 다사 마도 신 유래도 지나다 경험치기 차상을 집에 따고도 뒤 흉동 로종 제고 소리도 나디네 터네 근데 다 공부 차상 나올려 생이 배시다간 자야 차소래 안에 안에 되게 배시다데 계시다지 계시마 땅고 경험치 깔는 계시면 땅에 계시마 망고 차사래 안드누다 망보름 제 차야 돼 안디 마지다 경험치 갈송선 김바나에 배시다고 소리 나디는 배외 지소래 김바나에 바 생이다가 배 망고 차돼요 근데 데디 경험치게 데디 상주게 돌로전 쳐야지 안데 제고 손도 데디 야가나 롭다 망고나야 안데디 상주게 도디 안데 지게 롭전 쳐야 롭전 제야 고수 롭전 지고 디네 자데 경험치 갈롭지 나요 빠도메 벌 팽거로 와 디펜바데 가르치 뉴바 가르치 뉴벌리에서는 디 잠닝지기 잠닝지기 됐으면 동안에 다나서 삼로데 샹레 잠직 삼로데 뉴베 첨부 줘봐서 디기 팽거로 와 당 아주 매반자 가지 시도나 시제 야시 하는 말고 어디 지사 데니게 소수이 안주인네 검제 데니게 누베 첨부 차도 봐이나 안젤라 판도 첨부 지도로 와 능아주 서버름 지네 다가로 망볼 판도 두고로 와 지구로 와 서버름 지세도까지 나는 아주게 지금 망보실 야는 거네 직접리 망보나래 미 망볼은 팽거로 와 지사 디 잠니지 그런 주기 냠는 집이 뉴비도 없게 셔래. 당 아주리 매와디 아주도 뉴베 메디어로. 지사 디네 장 아주이나도 지네 장이 장 곰지 뉴베 첨부 수여도는 디네 젤 야첨부 판도 야첨부 제투야래. 안 라바도 디네 시드인 빌야가로 뽐보 디네 계속 와이나 디네게 야한데 딘 미망다 안 점리 시제들 랍친 제투야게 뉴베 용고로 와. 지사 디네 인자 디네게 아주 곰바이나 안 판도 야첨부 용고를 해서
To give some illustrations to show how the cultivation of minds such as love and compassion have an impact on others. The cultivation of minds wishing may others be freed from suffering, may others experience lasting stable happiness, how this cultivation of these minds within oneself has an impact on others. We can take as an illustration His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. So he is someone who has developed very powerful minds of love and compassion within himself, and due to having being under the influence of such powerful minds, that when he gives teachings, then so many people gather to receive those teachings. And they don't just come there for some entertainment. They come to listen carefully to what is said, and to listen carefully in the sense of to receive it as personal advice, as personal instructions for themselves. And moreover, it's not just left at the advice and the instructions aren't just left at the teaching environment, but they are taken away by the students and applied within their lives. So the reason that people see His Holiness in this way, and thereby his words can have such an impact on them, is because of the incredible power of the love within his continuum, the incredible power of the compassion within his continuum. Whereas, if we think of ourselves and think of your own lives, think of how often you have given advice to people, and think of how often that advice is taken up, how often it is followed. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is a reflection on the quality of your advice, but why is it that people don't necessarily receive that advice in the same way as if it came from, for example, His Holiness? And this is because of the vast difference in the quality of the mind. So His Holiness over countless lifetimes has developed this powerful love and compassion, and thereby he is able to have an incomparable impact on the lives of beings. So one example, one illustration would be back in old Tibet, in the early years in exile in India. Then the three great monasteries, they were engaging in debate like they always had. But those were some of the few monasteries that engaged in debate or in studies through the use of debate. The vast majority of monasteries and all the nunneries did not engage in debate. but through His Holiness, giving the advice that this needs to change, that the benefit that comes from studying the Dharma needs to be much more broadly experienced, then all the monasteries, as well as the nunneries, started to study in this way. And they've engaged, all of them now, in intensive study over a long period of time, utilizing the debate technique. And this only came about because of His Holiness's advice. And now in recent years, we've seen so many new Geshe-mas coming. For the first time in history, nunneries are producing Geshe-mas. And again, this is only due to the qualities of His Holiness, within His Holiness, that His advice is received like this. Moreover, He has advised the schools in the Tibetan communities to also study the Buddha Dharma and study through the same technique. So the Tibetan schools are also utilizing debate through the advice of His Holiness. And His Holiness is also teaching, especially in India, He's giving this advice to universities and schools as well, to how to teach and train their pupils and their students in ethical behavior, or in ethics. And this too is being taken up. Now again, we can give such advice, and we see in our own lives, we give people advice, but it doesn't have the same impact. Far, far fewer take up this well-intentioned advice. And that is because of the difference in the quality of the mind of the person giving the advice. And another illustration that we are familiar with is that of Lama Zopa. So for many years he's traveled the world, he's taught the Dharma, and through this he's established so many Dharma centers and beneficial projects and benefited so many sentient beings. And what is the difference between him and ourselves? The qualities he has developed within his own mind. So these are beings who are living proof of the benefits that to others that come through one's own spiritual development. In particular here in this context, the minds of love and compassion. So if we take these teachings that we've been receiving and we commit over a sustained period to developing these within ourselves, then within our communities, firstly our families at home, the loved ones that we spend most time with, then as we expand that to our greater families and our place of work and our community in general, we too will have a far greater impact on their lives, a positive and virtuous impact on their lives through our own inner spiritual development.
Nanina Sakya Tashin Tata Rimuche Sada, Tinigi, and the Chike Kayu Nanina Chikama Rimuchala Soba, Tinigi Sakya Kayu Nima, the Lama Mambo, Tinigi, Suzuki, Jam Niji Gombe, Yingida, Tinigi Tone, Shania Pando Yachim, do to Mambo or what did that, Tanga the Tonchos of Yoba, the Pero Shwada. Then as a Mahon and Nima, Sanya Jumden, they said, and to send to go to Kumos Jama. Sanya Jumden Digi, Ganasha, that the Bardo. Lo Nidong has stored the new San Jim and the Sun Shake de Yang Lobjong, Jebe, Jane, and Jignam, J. Lobjong Chen to Gorwa. Chisan San Jim then you Horongi Karasamio, Semja, Dunga, and Jana, some big Niji, the Shukchimogom. The Shukchimogomba and the Shukchimogomba Latine, Taniji and Dra, some Dunga Jana, some Shukchim going, Dunga Drag, Tapshi Kadichi words to say, Tapshi Digipa. How good and Anzulia Lam Jesharwa, Lam de Sonshi Pechimang, Sonsherwa. Cisadi Anzuki, Dadebardo, Denigi Jankan Mangura, the new Nelo Mangoligua. Then this Chasan, that Pantope, Masa Gyatso shoe, Semjan Tamcho Duna Drama, Sempigi, Niji Gombada, Semjan Tamchi Digida, then as a Jambo Compig, Jamzi Compig, Debola Tene, and Sanjigi, Nanzulia, Dunga Sea, that Digi to be a tablet Mangosonsha, Della Tene, Lobjon Jene, Dunga Diada, Digi to be a bottom of a Junsa Junior, the new in the end, the new Lobjon Checker, bottom of a yore, Chesan, Nidelia, then also in a Dusene, San Jim the Sonsha about the Lobjon Jeti, Chinyashi. Manzu Semdi, Gavi Semda, and Shale Pembe, somebody, Shuche, Ligorwa. Chisna, the new Gombig, Nubala Tene, Pautumebala Panto to war. Chisna, then also Najibara, San Jim de Las Obada, Jaurum Chelas Obada, Severum Shayan, Chulu, Sudu Lami, Kwanzuki, Jamniji, Kom Shala Panta, Yachima Jetu, and also in a 잠니지 공부에는 시안의 판도 계시면 투약이 용야로 다들 가서 매가 좀 마용배네 띵아 냠는 제바는 용투에 차리고 와.
Those two illustrations then are those that we are here probably most familiar with. But there are also many beings in this world who are benefiting in similar ways that perhaps aren't directly known to all of us. So, for example, Sakya Trizin and others in the Sakya tradition, Karmapa Rinpoche and many other great Karmapa, other lamas in the Kagyu tradition, as well as those in the Nyingma tradition, who are all benefiting beings in these in vast ways. And even though we are not necessarily aware of them or what they are bringing in this world or contributing in this world, we can be sure that through their spiritual development and these great inner qualities within them, that they are benefiting beings in ways similar to His Holiness or Lama Zopa. And another illustration that we can easily relate to is that of Buddha Shakyamuni himself. So he abided in the world about 2,600 years ago. But despite for this vast expanse of time between then and now, that he hasn't been physically present in this world, he continues to benefit beings through having taught. And why did Buddha Shakyamuni teach the Buddha Dharma? It was through the strength of his love and compassion and his wisdom that he wanted beings to be freed of suffering. And he knew directly from his own experience what the causes of suffering were and the solutions to suffering. Guided by his love and compassion, he taught the complete and unmistaken path to beings, how they can come to recognize the suffering that they are experiencing, what the causes of that suffering is, and how they can come to recognize those causes and see the validity of their teaching experientially. Then he taught that the suffering can be brought to an end. Cessation is possible. Nirvana is possible. And then he taught the vast and profound paths that need to be developed within oneself, as well as then how to develop them in the correct sequence and completely. So all of this was taught due to the strength of his love and compassion. And because of that, for 2.5 millennia following his passing, then his teachings have continued to be cultivated in the minds of beings who then, through their own inner developed spiritual qualities, continue to act as representatives of the Buddha in this world, helping others through the millennia. So we too, through training in the way that the Buddha himself did, as well as all the great masters that have lived between then and are in the world now, training in the same way as they have and are still doing, we can develop those exact same good qualities within ourselves, and we too can be of such great benefit to others too. We can also come to be like their representatives in this world.
Dine zang azu simje, tang azu simje tam je dunga da trawa sho, dunga da rana sambege samlo de jam nije sime samda rana samba. Ta simje nam je dunga da trawa de ngi ji tuwa sho samje. Dine ngi je je tuwa ya, ta dine ga lama idam sangye chanshu samba de gi ya jingi labro che sa du dus chine samda de.
We've spoken then about the meditation on to develop compassion, generate this wish that may all sentient beings be freed from suffering. And when we give rise to this sincere mind of compassion, this wish for beings to be freed from suffering, we can take it further to generate the thought where we make the commitment that I will do so. I will ensure that all beings are trained and guided so that they can become freed of suffering. And then we request our lamas to please bless us so that we may develop spiritually and become a guide for suffering beings.
Da dine nganzo gawachime sedirwa. Da gawachime sedi, da semje tam jelya anjige degi chuna yabures. Da degi du chuna, ane chuna de pemas yabure sedirwa, degi chuna yabure sedi. Degi dile yang anzo bene semje 야 안지가 하다 민 대화당 안 탈바다 탐지 김비 되기 주나 빼야고래 되니게 되기대 중제 되기대 마저와쇼 선배 삼다야 되라 단 잠바 가와치메시 거래.
Then the tamade the Gawagi Petin de Yankasumusa mi dang la de la sopa
mi dewa hada mi dewa ane ngonde dewa sigurwa ane 탈바다 탐지 김비 dewaden mi 네 하다 미 대화다 안 하다 안 탈바다 탐지 김배 대화다 됩니다. 되나 야고래 대화다 되니기 중간에 야고시고래 되니기 중앙 쇼 섬지 중앙에 빼마서 야고래 생각하디 되니기 대화디다 맞아와쇼 되니 대화 중에 동안에 맞아와쇼 되니 중간에 꽤 야고래 상한데 가와 공부하시고.
Then the fourth of the immeasurables is that of immeasurable joy. So here one generates a great joy in mind for the happiness that others are experiencing. So whether it's the happiness of the good rebirths that are experienced by beings in the human or God realms, or whether it's the happiness of liberation from suffering, or the happiness of full and complete and perfect enlightenment, all that happiness that beings are experiencing, one here generates joy in that.
대한 직발에 당보그런에 semje 탐제는 지게 되게 되네 야고래 선배 삼로도 숙침보 레토야래 먼저 갈래카 당보전로 장도에 걸려야 직 충충이야 안처처처 바 두스네 공부야 책으로.
And as with the previous meditations, one should not start with the thought of generating joy in the happiness that is being experienced by all sentient beings. One shouldn't start with this large abstract object, but rather start smaller and slowly, progressively expand this out.
Bene rangi bunjai nada, pame nada, denige suzuki nyensenruchi denichilia, and chike tunjere yagoche, subue devoche, and the chike consul Lagana Lamro Yakushi, denige what be yakures, Takonzo, Denu, and Chikonzo, denigi Laga Lamro Yakutu, and the consul Subutiki, David to pay Yakuresha, Sambike, Denu in a Mutisha, denigo consul Chilagana Yakuada, and Chik Nasa Mayon, Kanga Macho, Mayon. Show some Davena, and the Anzukitambo some Davena, do Chenelolia, Shukcher child, dinner, young as a Desina Shenche, Niholia, Semjen, Chasalia, and the Diki Juna, Payakures, Takonto Chasan Diki Juna, show some be then some tire. Don't do Seneagic, Semjen Tam, Jaganishinata, Semjen Tamjela Diki Juna show, some big Diki Juna, Payakure, some big Diki Juna, they 마저와쇼 선배 섬다디 나도 신앙하지 림베림베치네 로 슈처차 장애장애지네 안도 섬다 지버 차도요.
The sequence then is similar to the same as what we heard before, where we first think about those with in relation to our loved ones, or our relatives, our parents, so those that we feel a very close relationship with. And we generate joy in the happiness that they're experiencing through perhaps their good health, through their material comfort, or whatever success they're having in their place of work. So whatever they have that is good in their life, one generates great joy in that. And one starts by relating or thinking about those that one is closest to. And then one generates a wish, may these good situations that they're experiencing, again whether it's their health or their success at work or material comfort, may this continue. And generate joy, and not only then generate joy, but the aspiration, may they continue to experience these good conditions. And then slowly one can expand it out to one's community, to the greatest number of beings, but still ones that one feels a connection with. And then eventually expand it as far as all sentient beings.
가르람네 심제 남제 동화다 자나 심배 삼다야다 심제 남제 대화대 되나 심배 삼다야다 심제 남제 대화대 되는 배 야구래서 가와 고미하다 난 어두스네 심제 탐제 나 지기 지리 지가와다 지리 마가와 진 이링 매바지 차선에 따타 찍바요 존나 심배 땅이면 아심배 삼다 고미야디 나 체메시 공바시고와 니 공고베 김센이야 가르람나 땅 안조 두스 곰나 알아주고 로디 가지 공부에는 알아줄로 누버슉 쳐셔 주고 다가질 땅 알아줄로 가지 누버슉 쳐 줘베네 땅 알아줘 주게 삼당야 돼 심지어 탐지기 도나 삼당 거래 지산 심지어 탐지기 도나 삼당도 되니 주나 삼당 주게 삼로 니버 쳇셔 두고 그래 지산 삼로 니버 쳇셔 두고 봐나 야 주게 상지 고방 토야라야 타녀 주고 봐 지산 되네 상지 고방 타녀 줘봐나 주게 니버 쳇셔 줘봐나 현리야 판도지 니버 쳇지 두고 봐
We've been looking now at these four immeasurables. And we start with looking at developing the immeasurable impartiality or equanimity, overcoming this current mind we have of being close to some and distant from others, and rather replacing that with a true mind of equanimity, being close to all beings. No longer having this differentiation between some mattering more to us and others less so. Moreover, then, we spoke about developing the mind of love, the wish, may all sentient beings experience only happiness. And then the mind of compassion, the wish, may all beings be freed of suffering. And then lastly, immeasurable joy, taking joy in the happiness that beings are experiencing. So the purpose of this meditation is to develop a mind of great strength, a mind of intense power. And the meditation should lead one eventually to being able to relate to all sentient beings, relate to them with a mind of similar strength that we currently would relate to a far smaller groups, such as our loved ones. But to get to such a stage where we can relate to all sentient beings, so all sentient beings no longer just become something abstract, we need to train this in the sequence as has been presented tonight and last week. And if we do so, we will then develop an ever more powerful mind. And through developing this more and more, this mind of ever greater power and strength, the attainment of full enlightenment comes closer. Because right now our mind is very narrow and self-focused. A mind of enlightenment is a mind of an enlightened being is completely different in terms of its strength and its power. So what we're trying to do in this meditation is develop our mind to become more powerful and more intense, and in this way come closer to the attainment of enlightenment.
어디니 인자 나가 저기 나가서래 되게 용하대 신 샘절에 되는 용거래 진짜 신 샘절에 가지 랑기 신 샘절에 잠재 가지 숙체를 제투위네 소소리야 되기도 숙체를 두고 봐 진짜 되네 인자 아저 신을 뛰네 아저 강갈래에 신을 뛰네 아저 강갈리고 되기도에 대 신을 뛰는 되기도 걸 맞아 신 수제단 저 매나 아저래 네버 견지고 말와 직독자 라가요 말은 예다 당아요 말은 요마 수지 우마도 맨날 수지 대화 균에 매베나 진짜 이제 그 들어와 진짜다 다랑 지신질 마트바나 디기야 메로와 소수게 사야 동에 신내 현질을 뛰내라고도 근데 소수 두로 관제 현질을 뛰내라고 그래 ngazo saya tuya gwa de xian le dun de ra gu de so so lo zhong lo xin xin guo de xian le dun de xin gu guo de ji san de ni zang ngazo gwa saya tuya ina de xian le dun de gu de ji san da so so lo zhong xin guo de xian le dun de xin gu de ji san de ji so so gang gang se de xian le dun de gang gang se gu de ji san xian le dun gu bo zang xian le ya gu che gu de ji ba da so so le de xian le dun de yong zai xian de bei ge qin bu za qin bu de ji san xian de ya gu ga zhe xiu ne so so ni de ya gu zhuo ya gu chai yin ba de ji ji san de ne zai xian de ge qin bu xiu yin ba de han du shi ne sam dang na dan xian le ya dong a zhan na sen be ni ji ge da xian sem je de gi de zhong na sen be ge jam zhe le ya de du sam dang ba na ko 레게 슈셰리고 가스네 셴세의 예침보레 소술에 디기디게 샹레 띠네 용구도 소소 자야도야 소소 샹레 뛰고도 뛰고 제가 셴디베 예침보레 샤선 예침부 슈레 선바는 델야 자침부지데 사섭 슈치기로 와 그냥 저기 dorje parliament ge chim shu re di sab sab shu chin da go shu gyap je de ne nga zo hang go ning ba ro chin de ge chim ma chi lo de wa sha sha ro wa di na shi 저 현도 세계 침부도 판도 침부 임바데 삼다도 심주 삼다와나 되네 오다 디샹리아 자침부죠 디샹리아 잠제제다 인식이에도 숙세 연구를 제가 샬레 도시네 샬랑레 끄진 침부인 바나 판도 침부인 바당 예 침부인 바데 삼려야는 양의 당고레스 되네 따와이나 샬리아 아주 잠제다 인식이 레 팽기레스
Through training repeatedly over a sustained period in the cultivation of these four immeasurables, we will come to see a transformation in our way of thinking and our way of relating to others and to life's events. Because through training in the four immeasurables, we'll first start with training on immeasurable impartiality, overcoming this distance that we feel to so many people. And we'll rather start to feel a closeness and affinity eventually with all beings. We'll start to break down these barriers that we have between ourselves and others. The strong grasping at our own self-importance will start to wear away and weaken. And we'll start to value others more through seeing them as being valuable, as well as seeing them as kind. So through this changing relationship with others, the way we interact with them will be different because of our own spiritual development. No matter, ever more, we'll start to relate to others as being beings who are precious to us, beings who are of importance to us. And this distinction, this separation between ourselves and others will start to fade away. And when we're interacting with others, we'll have a feeling of closeness with ever more beings. When we're interacting with others, not just in our meditation, but engaging with them, seeing them as valuable, seeing them as important, as precious, will mean the way that we interact with them will be completely transformed. We'll be interested in what they have to say, we'll listen to what they have to say, we'll value what they have to say, we'll value their needs, we'll be attentive to their needs, and wherever we can help, we will readily do so, joyfully do so, not out of a sense of obligation, but out of a wish to ease the pain of others, a wish to bring benefit into others whose lives are so full of problems and difficulties. And so through developing our minds in this way, we'll naturally start to have closer relationships to others, see their qualities, understand that whomever we're interacting with, no matter who they are, we can learn something from them. We will not look down on others anymore. We will not see ourselves as being superior and others having not so much to contribute to us. Rather, we will know that whomever we're interacting with, this is someone precious, someone with qualities, someone who has something worth listening to. And we can learn from them and grow independence on them, as well as being of ever more benefit in their lives. So this can be likened to when one comes to understand the great value of a precious stone, say a diamond. When one knows the value of this, one will guard it well, and one will keep it somewhere safe, probably in a soft cloth, and guard it well. If it's something that one doesn't value, like an old shoe, well, you leave it out in the rain, it doesn't really matter. So here what we're doing is we're starting to see the value in others, the preciousness of others. And this then has a transformative impact on how we mentally think about others and relate to others, as well as then on our personal interactions. Our relationships then become harmonious. Even when others take out their difficulties on us, our mind will stay undisturbed and guided by now the mind that's developed that's instinctive of wanting them to experience happiness and to be freed of suffering and seeing them as beings of importance to us. No matter how they behave towards us, we will respond in a gentle way, a kind way, a wise way, wanting to be of benefit. And in this way, through training in this way, our minds are transformed, great benefit is experienced by ourselves, as well as all those that we come into direct contact with, and they indirectly continue to benefit others through our influence.
제가 소소 동아 미디어 반다니 콘조 동아 되게 지비지가로 제산다 나 지비지가엔자다 콘조 소소기 코로나죠 원에 삼다베네 다 마주 팔이야 콘조리아 콘조 대화 되고 동아 미디어 반에 제산아주 대화 되어서 대화 되네 콘조 대화지 주네 야보래 선비게 아니 코로나 대화 나시 대화 주네 야보래 선바다 아니 가와 kombiada 제산 콘조 동아 되고 말 동아 미디어 반에 동아다 자나 선비 미디어 반나시 동아다 자나 당아 동아 자고 지구 아래다 콘조 동아 되고 말 동아다 자나 선비 삼다야다 데네기 나 콘조 대화 되어봐서 콘조 대화에 대나 선비 삼다 진짜 데네기 코로나 정원에 대화 되고 동아 미디어 반에 제가 데네인자 코로나 콘조리아 대화에 대나 동아다 자나 선비 삼다 다 소설 삼다나 소설의 판도디 베마세 현심전지게 디진이 마시 디니를 셔바나 소설의 진침보다 끝인 침 판도 침 슈레샤스 다 술야는 데네 판도 제레다 오늘 판도에서 콘솔 내용에 지게 대화 주는 약으로 와서 그런 안에 판도 바나시 디게 대바나시다 콘솔의 대화 주나 콘솔의 동아다 자나 선배게 언두시는 가지고 삼다디나 다 랑레 되네야 소설 되네야 현야 체메시 공고바다 and 코로나 중원에 삼다베네 대화되바 동어 미디어바 삼르드네 여바인자 인디원에 게네 콘솔리아 미네 체메시 샘전 미네 체메시 공바나 더 김제로 시데네스 직또 김제로 막보 삼다베나 고 삼로디 슈크체시 김제라지 제라메 삼다마도 바나 아직에 삼로디 슈크치 게리아 데스 니부충아로 용구로와
The next point that I want to emphasize is that when meditating, I've often said the importance to engage in meditation repeatedly over a sustained period. Without this, it's difficult for much change to come. But also then to add to this, is that it's important that when meditating, when cultivating a mind, that one does so through utilizing a vast array of reasonings. If one doesn't use many reasons, then it's difficult for the mind to grow strong. One may develop some familiarity through repetition, one will develop familiarity through repetition, but the strength of mind, this will grow very slowly. But if one uses a vast number of reasons and uses them repeatedly, then the strength or the depth of this mind, that will rapidly grow. So this is important. Those of you who've been attending the teachings on dependent arising, this is something that you can use throughout every step of the meditation on the four immeasurables. So this meditation on dependent arising can serve to make powerful other meditations too. So when we're meditating on love or compassion or equanimity, we're generating the wishes that, first of all, removing the separation between ourselves and others, seeing ourselves as more important than others or certain groups as more important than other groups. And so this certainly is aided by the meditation on dependent arising, where we come to break down this difference between others, seeing how on a deeper level we are all the same in wanting to experience only happiness and wanting to be freed from suffering. But using dependent arising on a more profound manner, again we will come to see the sameness between ourselves and others, and as well as why we are suffering and how to accumulate the causes of happiness. So dependent arising helps us in the meditations on equanimity, on love, and on compassion. And in all meditations, whatever one does, but in particular because of this context, we're talking about these, use your meditation on dependent arising, coming to see, in terms of impartiality, that there isn't a difference between myself and others, or between myself and this group or that group, all these varying groups and each other. At a deeper level, we are all the same. And then in terms of meditation on love and the wish for happiness, we all are the same in having that wish, but we also all need to cultivate the same causes for happiness. And here you can use dependent arising to go to ever greater levels of profundity, as well as may all beings be free from suffering, the mind on compassion. Because the causes of suffering, these too are the same for all beings. So we meditate on dependent arising, seeing the causes of suffering, seeing the causes of happiness in relation to oneself, one immediately can relate it to others. In this way, the minds of love and compassion and partiality, they start to arise much more powerfully because of the use of reasoning. And in this way, through also with the minds of love, as has been mentioned in the dependent arising teachings, when one reflects on the kindness of, first of all, our relationship with others, that is a dependency. The kindness of others, that is a dependency. The wish to repay that kindness, etc. So those meditations we've done before. In these ways, too, the meditation on immeasurable love becomes so much more powerful through using one's understanding of dependence arising. So here again, just to emphasize that for meditation to quickly transform one's mind, one needs repetition, and it needs to be over a sustained period, but one also needs to rely on reasoning. Many reasonings, again and again, will lead to ever greater development of minds, of these virtuous minds within oneself.
탐질의 대기 중에서 야구를 some 가오 콤바이나 아주 안에 셴리아 차도가 삼바기고 말에 지사 아주 현대 아주 미션다 소소선 지 미션다 야기에 줘다 디기 콘조 디기도 콘조 야기에 줘도 만주 나교와서 나리 야차게 비게 차도 개중으로 되니게 아주게 셴리아 디기 중에 배 야구를 다 콘조 야구를 다 되는 너는 디기디다 맞아와지 되게 됨바지 무디지 균이고요나 선배기 삼도 가고 고면도 안에 샹리아 차도기 말해지래. 아 지금 저 샹심자도 저 동화다 자나 선배기 동화다 자나 선배기 삼다도 디가 고면도 심자 동화나 자나 선배 삼도 고면도 샹리아 동화 용에 그냥 저 자와 중 말와 샹리 추습샤다 샹리아 강아대야다 고마 컨트롤 강한 거로 디 짐거와 지사 샹리아 동화다 자나 샹심자 동화다 자나 선배 삼제 닌지도 겁나 아주기 샹리아 체외래가 돼 자와디 번고래 가고래 지난 체외지가 샹리아 융아 이수 샹리아 네비게 자와디 송요도 디 수름래 당아주 개와치 말하다 미고방토에 규야 디체고래 유샤르고래 데니기 토네 차가야 되지 디심자 탐제 인지 잠 대화다 되나 선배게 잠제 고면도 대화다 되나 선배 잠제 가지 숙침 고면도 제 소수기 다시 심전 탐제를 시작이야 팬비게 자와 같이 두투기 두고 왔다 잠나 대화 된나 선배 대화 된 것도 되기 고도 좀 삼도 같이 숙체에나 소수기 니비 강조기 아니 미교리야 아니 로버 짐바다야 다 칼라다 도로다 되니기 지내발야 로제야다 멤비기 현대제야다 되는 다 소수기 롭종 상에 배제다 팬벌 두야디 니 용구로와 되네서 디 짐비자와 레고 지난 시간에 대화다 되나 선배 잠지기 숙체 모여나 디 견진에 시간에 팬비자와 짐비자와 뭐 주용구로 되네서 체들이나 랑래 핑거 시간에 핑거래 세치마 삼다면에 소수기 마음반의 세치매네 소소리야 안지 튕게 야고줘야 규사고로 되네 인자 당 저기 두진 잠바단 제와 인지에다 가와 뒤수 체매시보 공부이나 다 랑래 판도여라 가서 소술 잠복 없는 미차상게 소술 전부 없는 미신나 거부진 수기운 거로 와 소술 밀에 판비 자와 어딘이 판비 자와 지도서 야구 중소서 비 소술이야 셈이야 뽑아다 거울리기로 와 미션다이나 어떤 미디디 야구지를 빼 야구였으면 미샤상 거부체나 라신이가 거부 팀부체고로 지나 세딜에 삼다면 충충지 삼다면에 되는 저다 나 딜에 개시 삼당 저기 잠이 숙체 지상 아주 삼는 날이야 되니게 대화도 신심전 대화 되나서 배 삼로 요래 동화다 되나서 배 삼로 요래 와 이내 니버 충충마도 매래 지상 디니 장 저기 김제 디네인자 디섬너디게 야네 삼다지 뉴비처 땅거에디 주게다 냠는 냠는 곰 세디 두 삼다에디 곰 세디 두 삼다네 삼다디네 같이 살지 삼다니 삼다디 맞아 디니 야네 야도 삼너디 코레기 레라야 두고래 레라라 근데 게디나 디네 곰이나 간섬 찍려 게디나 삼너디 게디나 균마체 버슴나래 코르된 최고로 디네 인자 아주 곰이야기 고미야디 게치모 차고래 지상아주 쇼괴는 봐 나요네 안심제남질레 다 심제 탐제야 아니 예링 매봐 예링 차나도 땅념는 영어를 쇼 선배 삼다야다 심제 탐질레 대화 중나 디기 템퍼쇼 선배 삼점다야다 심제 탐제 동화다 자월쇼 선배 삼다야다 다 심제 탐질레 디기 중나 빼야고래 선배 삼다 두스는 체메시 삼다 어디다 심제 대화도 템바다 네지기 동화다 자와다 네 강투도 지기 사다 온두 삼다웨나 내가 저기 니들이야 되게 삼로까지 망까지 마마 다투위네 곰시디 셔 주고래 지나다 아주 체메시 곰세디 아주 삼나디네 삼당고래 세월때 삼도 야네야도 당고래 세월때 당바이나 누가 셔 주고래스 지상아도 자위기 아주 사번딩 아주 길을 유대래 사번도 균이 매반다 가서 곰나 용하고로 그래서 사번 자위기 누버지 여봐자 인간적이야 긴 출릴 마선 된 베지단에 거 누버 쳐서 줘야기 고합이야 돼. 그래서 디공고를 해서 돼. 아주 디시고래다.
If one does engage in these meditations on the four immeasurables, there really are immeasurable benefits that will come to oneself as well as to others. So, for example, we spoke tonight briefly about cultivating immeasurable joy. So if one generates this mind, taking delight, generating joy in the good that others have in their lives, in the happiness that others have in their lives, and then this serves as an antidote to selfish minds such as that of miserliness, as well as to a competitive attitude. Because we are cultivating or developing a habituation to taking joy in what others have. And then when others we do observe others achieving something, naturally joy will arise that a person's longed for wish has been achieved. Also, the mind of competitiveness, wanting to do better than someone else, or to do better at someone's expense, those are going to fade away, become less likely and weaker, because we'll want others to experience happiness and joy. So that is part of the benefits that come through cultivating this attitude of joy, this delight in the happiness and the good that others are experiencing. Then with the mind of compassion, developing the mind of compassion, which is the wish that may others be freed from suffering. This then serves as an antidote to the mind of harmful intent, a mind that wants harm to come to others, a mind that leads to one engaging in a way that does bring harm to others, whether physically or verbally. So all these forms of aggression or perhaps annoyance, anger towards others, these start to be counteracted as we develop the mind of compassion within us. And what this also leads to is to the virtuous mind of ethical conduct, that being strengthened. Because the mind of compassion is the wish, may others be freed of suffering. And if we have developed this mind that wants others to be freed of suffering, we are not going to act in a way that brings harm to others, which means we are developing an ethical attitude. So the mind of compassion aids the ethical mind that commits to not bringing harm, to not acting in a way that brings harm. So therefore, we create further good causes that lead to good ripening results in our future lives. So the mind of compassion leads to the ever-strengthening mind of ethical conduct, and both of these lead to great benefits in our future lives. And this also is similar with the mind of love, the wish for others to experience happiness. So here, the stronger that we develop the mind of love within us, the ever more we'll want others to experience happiness, and not to be separated from happiness, but only to experience moments after moment of happiness. And this then will aid the cultivation of the mind of generosity. The mind of generosity is the wish to benefit, the wish to help, the wish to give. So these two minds also work in tandem. And as the mind of love grows ever stronger, so too does the mind of generosity. And then, as due to the strength of these minds, when the opportunity comes our way and we have the ability, we will help others in accordance with our ability, whether it's to offer material support, whether it's to offer advice or other verbal support. And we will do so willingly and sincerely, guided by the mind of generosity, this wish to benefit, guided by the mind of love, the wish for others to experience only happiness. So this too, of course, brings benefits to ourselves in this life, as well as through these karmic causes in our future lives. And it brings benefits to others, because of course acting in such a way towards others brings immediate benefit to them. But through our continued spiritual progression, this means we'll have ever greater impact on the lives of others in future lives. So in this way, there's benefits to others in this as well as future lives through training in the four immeasurables. There's benefit to us as well in this and future lives through training in the four immeasurables. And an impact that we will observe quite quickly as we are observing a change in our mind and thereby a change in our behavior. We will start to see a change in how others relate to us. Those that we are currently close to, that relationship will strengthen. Those that we are currently have an unpleasant relationship with, that the negativity in that relationship from our side will be transformed, and thereby from their side will weaken and eventually also be completely transformed. And we will become harmonious with those that we currently have difficult relationships with. And also those that we are currently distant from or indifferent towards. Through developing a closer relationship, a closer mental attitude towards them. As we interact with people that at the moment we are quite indifferent towards, we will have an ever greater impact on them, and we will experience a change in their response to us. So this all comes about through cultivating these minds within ourselves. And these minds we definitely can cultivate, and we can do so, relatively speaking, we can do so quite easily, in that we have the seeds of compassion, we have this wish for others to be freed of suffering, we have the wish for all sentient beings to be freed of suffering. Likewise, we already have the wish that may all sentient beings experience only happiness. What we don't have, though, is much strength to those minds. To bring about this strength, we need to cultivate those seeds through habituation, through greater familiarity, through meditating in the ways that have been described repeatedly over a sustained period, utilizing reasoning. And in this way, we will develop ever greater familiarity. And where you'll see a difference, as you're becoming more familiar with the mind, when you start your meditation, you'll very quickly be able to generate the mind within yourself. After the meditation, it will remain present in your mind, manifest in your mind for longer periods of time, and you'll more readily, more frequently recall your meditation during the day, and thereby refresh these minds of love and compassion and joy and impartiality within oneself. So this will come about, but only in dependence on the effort that one puts into one's meditation. If one just receives the teaching and leaves it at that, there's certainly benefit, but lives and one's mind is not going to be transformed. Through occasional meditation, more benefit, but one's way of interacting with others will not be transformed. But doing this meditation repeatedly over a sustained period, utilizing reasoning, then you can be sure that one's way of thinking will be transformed, as well as our way of dealing with problems and difficulties, as well as our way of interacting with all those around us. This will all be transformed.
Diring de Shire, that in Eza, Jidanemi, Jaju Semda, Dinigi, Panda, Dinigi Yamna Jedao, Anzu, Joram Chigi, the Sonshak, Europe Nado, Mongoda, the bed, Dinigi, Dediculus, Michigan, Maral, Lapchik, US, and be some down, and Yambanang, the Jik Pandochi Mungua, and then that Jamadelian Jaju Sem Yukormashi.
So my hope is that all of you, when you get up in the morning, that you immediately turn your mind to what we've been discussing. If you don't have time to meditate, at the very least, generate the thought, may all sentient beings experience only happiness, and may they cultivate the causes for that. May all sentient beings be completely freed from suffering, cultivate the causes to be freed of suffering. And may I develop myself to become a true guide, a guide that can lead beings to such a state where they cultivate the causes of happiness and the causes to be freed of suffering. At the very least, I hope you can all do that every morning. And if you can engage in these meditations, then that would really transform your lives. So what I've said tonight is nothing particularly unique. It's been taught by the Buddha and many other great teachers. His Holiness has taught it many times as well, and he's taught it in Europe recently. So this, I hope you take these teachings and apply them to yourselves too. And then next week we'll continue from here, and we'll look at the cultivation of the mind of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. Okay, so we're a little late again tonight, so we'll just finish here. Thank you very much.